Thank you, Susan, for the reminder. I don't know why. I don't know why I can't remember that.
I don't know why I remembered it.
I think I'd remember something once a month.
Wait, people must be busy with summer stuff.
Yeah, there might be a few that went.
Hi, Jane or Janet.
Hi.
I went to the living room today.
You walked?
No,
Oh.
I'm not walking. My
Aw.
wound vac came today. It's a pretty big box.
Cool. He just has scooter races with himself.
I have the boot on now, so I'm standing a little bit occasionally. But, this lady came over and helped me take a shower today. First shower since mid-April.
Yay.
Then I got all hot and sweaty cooking because our air conditioner stopped for a while today.
Uh-oh.
Joey said to turn it up, and I went in there and that battery had died.
Can you hear me, Ron?
Yes.
Okay, I can't get a photo. My picture won't come up.
My computer just went black too.
Did it?
Yeah.
My screen will check it, but it doesn't come up on yours.
Before anybody even got on, my screen froze. I go, oh no, I hope my internet's not going out.
I don't have a
Try logging in again.
video.
No, it went black, then it came back fine. That's the first time I ever did that.
Well, I see Janet just fine, but I only see John's written name.
That's so funny because I can't see anything.
I went into the system and it's working, but for some reason it's not working on yours.
Huh.
Can't see anybody, Janet?
No, I got a complete black screen.
Because we see you.
Oh, great.
Your
I wonder
camera's
if you
working.
log in again, if it would be better.
Okay, I'm gonna try. My computer won't even respond, so I'm gonna turn it off and turn it back on.
We'll give
Well,
it
we
a
hope to see you again.
Right?
Hurry up, Tony. We get started in about 3 minutes, 3 or 4 minutes. I'll wait till you get back on. Now that you're frozen. Frozen and mid-smile.
Well, it's better than frozen with something else.
There we go. It got turned off on smart video. Stop video in the corner. Better turn some lights on because it ain't looking at one. Whoa, too much.
I just came back from LA yesterday, and the driving down there was so bonkers. My cousin said because of COVID, there's fewer people on the road. So now the freeways aren't so crowded that it keeps everybody just kind of driving along in their own lane and bumper to bumper traffic. So now they're all driving about 85 or 90 miles an hour and cutting lanes like this constantly. Thankfully, my sister was driving, but don't go to LA. It's terrible.
I don't plan on it in the near future.
I didn't hear anything about less traffic this last weekend.
No, it's just
I
it's
thought
less
it was
traffic
just the opposite
than
because
normal down there.
everybody wants to get out because they haven't been able to go anywhere.
Well, the traffic was much lighter than it usually is in LA, and my cousin said it's been like that all during COVID. That's how the freeways have been.
So is that connecting to audio, Janet trying to get back in?
No, I removed her because she seemed to be frozen, but she hasn't come back to the waiting room.
Oh, no, that's Robert's iPad.
There she is. Can you see us now, Janet?
I'm back.
Can you see us now?
Yep, I can see you now.
Okay.
It's back. Who knows? Computers.
All right, everybody.
This is it, huh?
I know some of you have heard Brian speak before, but a number of you probably haven't because we've got a number of newer members. Anyway, we have the pleasure of Brian speaking to us. I'll just tell you a quick story about when I was younger and I could actually walk somewhat, not very good, but I had the privilege of going with Brian a couple of times out shooting. Of course, he probably didn't think that with going out with me because I'm sure I slowed him down, but he's a pretty amazing photographer. But you know, if I'd been 10 years younger than him, then I probably would have been able to keep up a little better. Anyway, Brian Rueb is our.
I think we just went somewhere cheesy. Like, I don't think we went anywhere with a big hike.
Yeah, but anyway, it was fun getting out with you. So Brian is going to talk to us tonight. Why don't you tell everybody what else you do too in your free time when it's not total lockdown?
Well, hey, how's everybody doing tonight? An interesting way to do. The thing is, when you start to get used to these kind of meetings, I think that's what's rough. I'm like, oh, I'm used to this. Like, so welcome everybody. It's kind of fun to see everyone's house. Like, it's a little different than the camera club meetings I'm used to. But I know I'm just like, oh crap, I didn't pick anything up. But these are some camera gear. You can kind of see there's some camera gear back there, so that's a little least relevant. Yeah, I have been doing photography professionally for, I don't know, almost 20-something years, almost 30 years now. I also teach high school digital art, animation, graphic design, things like that. So I'm kind of intertwined with computers in all kinds of different senses of the word. I live at home right now. Kind of funny, my oldest son just moved out today. So right now it's just my youngest son and myself, and we have a dog and a cat. We have a new cat, so that's been the thing that's been most exciting for us the last couple of weeks is we have a baby cat. So that's the only thing I've really taken pictures of in the last. You guys thought you were gonna get a real thing, but now it's just gonna be cat photos for the next hour. Just kidding. So anyways, if you hear a dog squealing in the background, it's because he wants to go play with the kitty and she doesn't want to play with him. So that would be that noise. All right, so anyway, tonight, one of the things I've been kind of talking with people recently about on a few different podcasts and different groups is just, especially with COVID going on and with, I feel like photography's changing a lot in the past several years, like 5 to 10 years. So I think I can share my screen, right? I can do a slideshow, right?
Yes, you can.
Oh, perfect. All right, entire screen. Maybe. Oops. All right. Let me. So you guys can see that, right? Hold on. I might even be on this. I don't think I'm on the first slide. So that would help.
Yes.
Can everyone see that? All right.
Yes.
Let me. Perfect. Let me. Okay, so everyone can see that. So for me, these past couple of years with COVID and everything has kind of forced me to really look more at why I make photographs. And I think just watching and observing what's going on with photography, everybody these days is a photographer or can be a photographer or thinks they're a photographer. And it can get a little overwhelming. And for me, like the last 2.5 years kind of put me in a bad road in terms of what I was trying to get out of photography. So I'm in the process now of kind of really redefining and relooking at what I enjoy most about photography. So that's kind of what I'm sharing more, like the not getting caught up in the rat race, not basing your worth as an artist based on what you see online, not comparing yourself to other people, and kind of that whole route. So I'll try to make it a little bit more less. It sounds like really depressing. Like, you've been inside all the time. Let me go ahead and take you down this dusty road with me. So anyways, this is kind of my little presentation about trying to bring some kind of authenticity or genuineness to your work so that ultimately you feel good about it. And you'll see some different things on the side, and I'll try to, if you have any questions afterwards, I don't mind talking about some of the particular images. So for me, what got, like, those people who maybe know me or a little bit about my work, like I spent about 10, 12 years working with a company called Aperture Academy, teaching high school, doing my own things, and just being busy, and to the point where I forgot how to say no to things, and I would do literally every single job that came up, and kept trying and kept trying and kept trying. And then once you start that route, at least for me, it became mostly about money. Like, when somebody offers you money to go do a job, I always felt bad about leaving work on the table, like, for whatever reason. So I constantly kept doing what I thought other people would like. And really it became about work, and it became about doing what I felt responsible, financially, and supposed to actually really enjoying making photos. So it actually got to the point, like the last year or so, where I couldn't, even if I was somewhere amazing or beautiful, I couldn't wait to be home. I couldn't wait to stop taking pictures, and I was literally counting down hours, being like, I don't want to be here anymore. I was kind of pretending to be like excited about photography and into photography, to a point where really all I wanted to do was go home and not be there anymore. So I basically, like, the last, since about the summer of 2019, I haven't really gone out and shot very much. I can probably count the number of times I've been out to photograph for fun on one hand. Like, I just haven't had that need, but I'm starting to kind of try to work through some of those things. So like, that's what I feel like is important to share, because I feel like everyone wants to share camera settings and processing techniques and locations and, different lenses and, things that actually, but I feel like those things are great, but I feel like we're so involved with what's everyone's shooting these days that it's missing the point for some people. So not saying that it's you, but one thing I've kind of noticed too is that photography for me, like, and for everybody, is this huge, long journey. I mean, I started when I was 18. I'm almost 50 now. So been doing it for a long time. And what happened was, in the beginning, I shot whatever I wanted to shoot, whatever was fun for me, what I liked. And then, like, over the past 10 years, it kind of got into, like I said, shooting what I felt other people would like, shooting for, people to enjoy it other than myself, and then finances. And it became more about that and less about fun. And I think sometimes there's so much stuff out there. I think people get really wrapped up in feeling like they have to achieve something in a very quick, very, meaningful way very quickly. So people, it's like constantly, I have to post something every day or show something every day because people want to see it. And it really is, it's this race that once you get in it, it's hard to not do it. And we live in a market right now that's oversaturated with photographers. So for me now, like, I stay away from social media photographically as much as I can, because I found I was getting in arguments with people that I didn't need to argue with, usually about something that wasn't even related to photography. You're looking for adoration from people who you might not even stop to talk with on a, somewhere else. Like, for me, it was toxic. And so I didn't like that pressure of having to feel like I needed to post something every single day. And it was addictive. Like, you get used to that kind of interaction, and then you depend on it. So for me, I stay away from social media as much as I can. And I'm lucky that I have another job that I'm able to focus some time on. I don't need photography the same way I did, or thought I did. So I don't get stuck as easily in the traps of having to self-promote and all that stuff. Another thing I've had to do is learn I can only control what I can control. Like, I used to go places and be very, very angry or very, very upset when conditions wouldn't be the way that I thought they should be, or when things didn't go 100% the way I saw them, instead of actually just focusing on what was there and what was available to shoot and making the best out of that. And it was one thing that I used to tell people all the time: oh, there's always something to photograph. There's always something to photograph. But I found that I wasn't really taking my own advice. I was just getting kind of like bummed all the time. Like, I would be very rare that I would go away and shoot and be excited about what I'd taken pictures of. So the thing is, people post now, and the thing, this is what drives me nuts, is we're in this world now where we, as older photographers, are competing against people that are 20, 21, that don't have houses, they don't have families, they don't have kids, and they are willing to live in a van for weeks at a time. And it's like, I can't compete with that anymore. There's no way I can do that. So trying to compete with people that feel like they can post and have the time to post 3, 4, 5 times a day, all time zones, is a lot. And I think sometimes too, people get frustrated going, well, why am I not getting the likes and the comments and the people following my stream and doing this stuff? But nobody realistically has that kind of time, except for these young people who don't have anything else to do but driving. When I keep seeing these people, I'm like, oh, that guy's 22 years old. Of course, he has all the time in the world to go take pictures in the morning, come home, have a cup of coffee, show everybody on Instagram his cup of coffee, make dinner, go out and shoot again. So I've got a kitty coming over here. So the word influencer now has become a bad word in my house. I don't know if anybody else feels the same way, but it is one of those things where I'm the way we market and the way things work completely changed. And I feel like most people now are creating personas, online personas of who they want people to think that they are. And then if you meet them in person, they're not really like that person. You know what I mean? They're making somebody up that they feel like people will gravitate to. And I feel once you start doing that, it takes away from photography, and why you should be doing it in the first place. Okay. So first thing I always tell people too is don't worry about gear. I feel like now there's so many websites and so many places out there that constantly push new gear, reviews of new gear, checking out new gear. And I'm probably guilty as liking, new shiny cameras as much as the next person. But one thing I'm learning is if I don't know why I need a new piece of gear, then I shouldn't probably buy it just because it's new. So I'm trying to just focus with the stuff that I have. And granted, I have decent equipment, but I try not to get wrapped up over, oh, I need to try the new Sony A1, or I need to try this lens, and get that kind of stuff. Try to just figure out how to tell a story the right way with whatever gear I happen to have with me. This is my thing. Take the pictures that you like. I've really tried hard the past couple of years, and I don't really share a lot of pictures that are on this slideshow. I don't really share too much because I'm not taking them anymore for other people. I take them because I think they look pretty, or for whatever reason, I'm taking images that mean something to me. And I don't care if anyone buys them, and I don't care if anyone likes them. I don't even care if I share them necessarily with people. I'm trying to do it for the right reasons. Like when I feel like going out and making photos, like go out and make photos now, but it's not for any other reason other than for me. And if I take a job now, it's something that I feel will be fun and interesting to do. I don't just do it because I feel like I need the money. So that's like the next thing. Making money, once you put the pressure of having to make money off of what you do, it's going to end up being like work at some point. And then it's going to start to change everything. So like I said, I only take jobs now that are fun or exciting or interesting or for people that I know or things like that. I don't really work on advertising or promoting. I still do stuff with the Aperture Academy, but it's on my terms now. It's not on other people's terms. So I've really tried to make sure money doesn't ever creep into why I go out and take photos. That's another thing too, that I'm trying to like spend more time with my friends, my family, and focus on those things too, because it's pretty easy, especially in photography, to get wrapped up with going more places and seeing more things and doing more stuff and trying to constantly feed that image machine where you're showing things like, I went here and I went here. Oh, everybody's going to the Everglades now. We got to go to the Everglades. Everybody's going to Mount Rainier. We got to go to Mount Rainier. Everyone's shooting these things. We got to go do that too. So I'm trying not to put myself in that and prioritize the people that I see all the time, because at some point I'm not going to be doing photography anymore. I'm going to be sitting on these images. And if it was all about something other than the adventure and the stories and that stuff, then they'll just be pictures that don't have really any meaning to them. So this is one thing I did for myself too, is figure out why you photograph and actually write a definition of why you photograph. Like, what is it that you're trying to do? What are you trying to bring to this profession that you keep doing it? So I actually wrote it down, like, what about photography means the most to me? So that way, if I'm doing something, I can read that definition and go, is this fall in line with what is important? If it doesn't, I don't do it. You know what I mean? Whether that's leaving money on the table or taking, not doing a wedding. I've really worked on defining my purpose in terms of what I shoot. So for me, experiences and stories are always the most important. Like when I look at images now, I look at them and I remember where I was, who I was with, and all the stuff about it. Like the images are just bonus now. They're not, if the weather's great, it works out. If it's not great, I'll make the best of it. And that's how I'm choosing to try to go through this part of photography. Yeah, the minute you get to the point where you can't put the camera down and you're constantly checking social media to see how many people like your photo and constantly feeling like you need to engage in this thing like that with the world has made, you're getting to a point where it kind of gets dicey. I've seen more people in the past couple of years where it's become politics, negative energy, like just putting stuff on social media that, while it's important and those topics are important, you've already taken away the personal relationship to something the minute you throw it on the internet. And those kind of conversations are way better to have in person with people and get to know people on a real level, not everybody constantly hiding behind a screen. All right. So one thing also that I've started doing too is switching up the kind of stuff that I shoot. Every kind of photography has good things and bad things and frustrating things. So I've started doing more and more wildlife photography. I was doing a lot of concert photography, event photography, anything that I thought might be challenging or different, and just try to figure out how to do that the best I could and just make it always about a story that I was trying to tell, whether it's a wedding or being in the the wilderness or a place, like just trying to tell the story the way I want to tell it and not worrying about it for any other reason. So like when I photograph weddings now, I always tell people like what I'm doing is I'm telling a story of your day with my camera. If you want me to tell the story, I'll be happy to do it. I'm not going to take a whole bunch of posed pictures, big lists. I'll try to get those things, of course, but like I'm telling this story, and if it's not fun for me, I'm not doing it. So I kind of really put that out there too. Yeah, that's the thing too. I started to realize too is like there's always going to be somebody who has more time and more money than you do, and those things almost always will yield better images. If you're looking for that kind of stuff, the people who have that luxury to be able to travel more are always going to be able to go get the pictures that everybody wants. So if you constantly are feeling bad about that, you're always going to overlook the stuff that's close to your home or the stuff that you could enjoy photographing, because you always feel like, why can't I go here? Why can't I go here and do this? Even though I'm speaking as somebody who's gone some places and done some things, but I'm trying to look more of just whatever I happen to be able to do. Okay. Once more time, please take photos that you like, of things you like, ways that you like them. And if no one else likes them, it doesn't really matter, right? I've done a lot more now because my degrees are in art as well. So I've been doing a lot more of just looking at paintings for inspiration and just getting inspiration for my photos from different sources. And I find that fun, like, or cooking or other places where I am able to kind of see things a little differently and then figure out how can I use this in a genre of photography that I like. And so I've been doing a lot more of trying to figure out how to make photos that look more like paintings and doing a little bit more drawing and a little bit more other stuff as well to try to figure out how to incorporate that into photography, right? One other thing, this is probably my own personal thing, is I feel like we are getting into this realm too, where everyone wants to know where everything is. And it's it becomes almost a battle too, with people sharing locations. And then those locations they share with a friend, and that friend shares it. And eventually it gets to this point where they become these huge, like, crowded areas. I just read this article yesterday about this big brawl with people throwing cameras like over at Mesa Arch, like destroying things, like fighting. And I've been multiple places where that has almost happened. And part of the reason is that everyone does something great and they want to take a photo and share a location because they want to share that photo. And I always tell people too, I'm like, you don't have to put compass reading on where your photo is. I'm like, I can find it within 20 minutes. If you give me any kind of context clue, even a country, I'm like, I'll find out where you took that photo. So I'm like, if I can do that, like, other people can do that too. And it's only a matter of time before these places stop being as fun. I mean, you can have the most peaceful place in the world, but if there's 40 other people there, side by side, like interlocking tripods to try to shoot it, even if the photo looks remote and pristine, that's not what the experience was. And there's way better things to go out and shoot if you just don't keep looking for like these trophies. So that's one thing for me. Like, photography began to, like I said, to be something that didn't feel good. And so I spent the last year like trying to get my brain healthy again, in terms of just where I was headed. And it's a process, but there's, talking to professionals, taking medication, like anything that helps change that chemistry in your brain work. For me, it worked. Like, and now like I can start again to start feeling like, hey, like I'm planning a couple photo trips this summer that I'm excited about. But it took a couple years, and it took a lot of kind of dark places to get to that point where I felt again like, yeah, I could do this again. It might be fun again to go do it. But like I said, there's no pressure anymore. I refuse to put myself in a spot where I feel like I have to perform for somebody, or I feel like it's about anything other than going out and taking pictures the way I want it, telling a story the way I want to tell it, right? And that's, trophy hunting too is a thing where, and I talked about a little bit about how people have time and money. Those people want to go out and go to the exact same spots that their favorite photographers go and get all those pictures. And if you have that kind of time and money, you can get any photo you want, of anything, and make your portfolio that way. But I would like, I love portfolios that are more organic and where people kind of find their own subjects and their own things, and they take pictures of stuff that aren't necessarily repeatable, because it might be something in their backyard. It might be something in a place that they only go to. I appreciate people who want a really nice portfolio, but it's frustrating sometimes to see people that just go out and try to get something. You know, I've had people come up to me and go, tell me exactly where you took this photo. And you can be like, oh, it was in that area over there. No, exactly. Like, where exactly did you put your tripod? How high was it? To me, I'm like, why would you want that? Like, all right. So here's a few little things in conclusion. Number one, don't compare yourself to other photographers. Don't ever compete for likes on any kind of internet platform. Find the people that you genuinely want to photograph with. And for, you know, hopefully that should be yourself first off. So just make sure that you try to keep the money thing in perspective. Obviously, everyone has different kinds of needs. Like, if photography is your primary job, then of course you're going to have to, you know, work and promote yourself a different way. I would say that just make sure it stays fun and always, you know, stays something that you're doing for yourself. Same thing too is, and this is what I had to kind of deal with, is when the people around you, your family and friends, aren't as jazzed about your photography as you think they should be, it might be because you're neglecting them for photography, and then that becomes problematic. Remember, again, like, this is a young person's game. Anybody with a phone can go out and do stuff, and anybody with no other career aspirations or family or houses or kids can spend all the time that they want trying to do this. And no matter how much you love photography, if you have families and you have kids and you have other jobs and you have things, you can't compete with that. So appreciate it and just try to figure out what it is that you want to do. It doesn't matter what other people are doing. And just remember, there's always going to be more gear that you can't afford. Next year, there'll be new cameras and there'll be new cameras. So please don't try to get super wrapped up into all that kind of that gear, because it'll just drive you crazy. So, all right. I mean, you guys are quiet. I appreciate it. Like, I keep thinking maybe click this off. No one will be there anymore. So there you go. It's a little bit. So let me undo my screen thing. Stop sharing. Okay, where did my screen go? All right, there we go. So there's our cat that I was told you about. Like, so anybody have any questions on anything? I can go back to my PowerPoint too. I can't hear anything. Hold on. Why can't I hear anything?
Carmen, I muted a few people that weren't muted earlier.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Unmute
So you,
yourself. Like Carmen.
yeah, you guys can unmute yourself if you have questions.
Carmen, you need to unmute.
No, I was just being funny. I just said, what's the cat's name?
Her name is Nala.
Oh, she's so cute. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know.
No, yeah, she's like, she's
Oh,
4 weeks old.
She looks like mine.
Yeah. She's
Yeah.
like, we're like, oh, we don't want a cat. Like, now we do with that, you know.
I
It didn't take
know.
very long for us to, like, yeah.
Love her.
Yeah. So. Questions on anything?
So thanks, Brian. I haven't heard you speak before. Are you, someone told me you're a local teacher, where
Yep.
you're in the area?
Yeah, I teach at Central Valley High School. I've been out in that district for, I think, 25 years now. So yeah.
Central Valley. Oh, my grandson's going to be going there.
Oh, cool. So then you'll probably have me as a teacher in one way or another.
Oh, you bet. Oh, God. God bless you.
Yeah. Yeah, right. It's almost done. Hey, this summer's almost here. So
Summer's almost here for you, so enjoy your
yeah,
break.
3 more days. Yeah, 3 more days.
Hey, Brian, this is Jane, and I just want to thank you for your talk, and it made me appreciate more that I just pretty much, when I joined the club, I saw these people doing all these really cool things and I got excited. And basically I just discovered that I just want to do wildlife. And it's okay, because that's what brings me joy. And I don't want to do this other stuff because I don't get excited about it. So it just kind of reaffirmed that that's okay. Do your thing.
Well,
you know?
good.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, that's the thing too, is like just having fun when you go out. Like, and this year for me, like I got into animation a lot this year with the kids at school. And for me, I'm like, it was more just about like, this is something there's no pressure on. Like I can just do it because it's fun. I don't have to feel like I have to achieve at a certain level and other people expect me to achieve at this other level, and it wasn't fun. Like, so now like art's starting to be fun again, which is exactly where it needs to be and exactly where I plan on keeping it. So.
Well, and I think that's kind of what we want the club to be too. You know, even though we have our little monthly competitions and things, you know, it's not supposed to be a big pressure thing. It's just supposed to be for fun and, you know, just, you know, sharing with each other and maybe learning something new. And, you know, I don't think anybody wants to put pressure on anybody. So.
No, and that's good. I mean, that's the thing too. And it's like, and I feel like most people fall in that route, but I feel like it is pretty easy if you start being on social media too much and you really start to kind of look at what other people are doing. It's easy to get wrapped up in that competition where you feel like, oh, now I need to go this or I need to do this. And some of those people can be pretty nasty in terms of how they interact with other photographers. And it's way more competitive underneath the surface than sometimes it looks like. And it can get pretty ugly. And that's one thing I was like, I don't want to be part of that anymore. Like I don't care. I'm not at the point where I want to sell my personality in a way that I have to do it every day, multiple times a day. And then I have people criticizing me as a person based on the fact that, you know, how I am as a photographer. So I was like, it's just easier for me to focus on shooting when I want to shoot, what I want to shoot, how I want to shoot it. And if it brings some financial stability out of it, great. If it doesn't, I'm not in a position where I need it to do it that way. So that's what I'm doing now, is just kind of working on being healthier for me and working on images that I like.
Well, I wanted to say something, Brian. I wanted to say thank you for not saying no to me several years ago, actually, teaching me how to use my camera. Because I never knew how to use my camera, and you're the one that did it. So from there,
Awesome,
you know, I understand, because the last couple of years have been really hard with the fires and COVID, all the things and all the beautiful things went away to take pictures of. And it's hard to look at your competitive kind of, you know, I'm not that great. I don't take that great of pictures and whatnot. And I've had to do a lot of not worrying about it now too. It's more about fun. So that's what it's all about. I agree 100% about that.
Good. Awesome. Yeah. So that was my, that's just what I'm trying to pass on to people now. I think I just did a podcast kind of about that too, just because I feel like it gets so easy for people to start bagging on how people process images or how they take images or what they do. And I was just like, you know, or criticizing people for doing things one way or the other way. So I was like, I kind of had enough of it for a while. So.
Yeah. You know, Brian, back when about the time we went, you know, when I was listening to every podcast I could and, you know, learning, it was so much fun. And I remember one thing I would hear a lot of times about, you know, when it became a business, a lot of times the fun went out. Well, you know, guess what? I started, you know, it's kind of a fun business, but, you know, as far as, you know, doing real estate, it's, you know, not an exciting thing. And of course,
I've done it.
My bad ankle hasn't helped, but that's why I'm getting the surgeries now. And I'm hoping to, when this all gets fixed, I'm hoping to get out and go have fun. You know, go shoot where I want to. Go have fun again.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's for me. And it's like I said, this summer, I only have, I think, one workshop this summer, and it's local, so I'll be excited about that. And then I'm just gonna go figure out what I want to shoot when I want to shoot it, and try to have fun with that. So yeah, if anybody ever has any questions on anything, you can always drop me an email. I'm happy to help. So
I had an experience that, I mean, so I think for me and for most of the people in the club, we're not, haven't ever done this professionally, but I think we all at times have felt the pull toward, okay, if I post a picture, there's going to be this little bit of a kick of, I don't know, adrenaline, or I'm sure as a biologist, I should know which chemicals it's going on in the brain.
Yeah.
Surely got dopamine and serotonin are involved in that, I'm sure. But, of the hits of the good brain chemicals that hits when people start liking or commenting on your posts. And I felt back when I was doing more photography, which I have to say recently, I've just hardly done any. Not because I'm tired of it or anything. It's mostly because my kids have gotten to be very difficult and challenging to deal with, and there's some other personal issues going on in our family with related to that and other things. But let me get around to my point. Was I feel like, though, for most of us, we're not doing this professionally, so we don't have that danger to worry about as far as the job aspect of it getting in our way.
Yeah.
But I think we do have to be careful about why we're doing it from the standpoint of chasing likes, even for a person like me who doesn't have an Instagram account or doesn't care, don't even use my Instagram account. It's all just about sharing. It has been, sharing pictures with my Facebook friends, with mostly just who I really know, like literally people who I see or have been a part of my life. But what I want to get around to saying is that I recently left a job that I had worked for 14 years. And as part of that, in my send-off from that job, I taught at Simpson University here in town. As part of my send-off from that school, we had a moment where they kind of, one of my colleagues got up and said some nice things about me. And they actually, my colleagues actually prayed over me as I left that position. And this is kind of specific to the spiritual nature of what we do at Simpson. But what I'm getting at is a number of people prayed for me, and I was shocked for the number of them, how many of them mentioned the photography that I had done as being something that had inspired them, that had meant something, and that they really associated with who I was these pictures I would take of the stars. So I guess what I want to say is that if you can fight through the tendency to look for likes, I think for a lot of us, sharing that with our true friends has a value sometimes beyond what we can see to those friendships and to those other people. If we're capturing beautiful images, it can mean a whole lot to our friends. So I didn't mean to totally counteract what you had to say, but certainly there's another side to it, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. And I think, but for me, when I got back into photography, after 10, 12, 15 years ago, after doing it a lot in college and stuff, I didn't go into it trying to make it a profession or a job that paid me a bunch of money. And then it just kind of ended up turning into that. And then for me, it just kind of happened with the same thing with the social media. And as you get people start to develop into, as the profession changes, as the medium changes, people adapt to it. It's like when digital photography first came out, there wasn't really the social media aspect of it. There wasn't all these other things associated with it. And as things become more popular, people figure out how to use that stuff for their benefit. And that's where I feel like it starts to get crazy, is all these people figure out different ways to market it. And if you don't have that same drive, you can either feel inadequate or you won't be successful because you don't have that same drive or ability to be able to, you know, push towards it.
Oh,
Well, thank you, Brian. We really appreciate you speaking this evening. I loved your images that were along the side on your PowerPoint. You're obviously very talented, and we really appreciate you coming tonight. Thanks a lot.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate being here. Like I said, you can find my website and email me if you have any questions on anything whatsoever. I'm always happy to talk photography. So hope you guys have a great rest of your night. Thank you for having me.
Good seeing
Take
you,
care.
Brian.
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, those were lovely.
Yes,
Mhm.
good things to be reminded of.
So before Ron shows the slideshow, if any of you didn't vote in our little online poll thing for our new board members, it's still there, I believe, if you want to vote. Not that there's a lot to vote for. But thank you to everyone who participated. And our next theme is going to be Shoot Through It. If you need some ideas on that, some of you may be familiar with the phototherapy site. They did a topic of Shoot Through It a while back and did one of their, podcast kind of things talking about the images. And there were really some great images that might inspire you. Also, we're hoping that our next meeting is going to be in person. We're not sure with the church, but assuming that the June 15th date holds true with, June 15th date of the government dropping the tiers and everything, then we think we'll be able to meet at the church. So it's still a little bit up in the air, but that's what we're shooting for our next meeting. So unless anybody else has other announcements, we'll let Ron run the slideshow and talk about your photographs.
Yeah, so if they say on the 15th that the tiers are done with, then we're pretty much going to be meeting in person, some of us. Minimalism, yeah, you know where the topic is. Should I play it through automatic once and then go, or just go through slide by slide? So Debbie, should we have everybody talk about them as we go through?
Somehow the first slide, at least for me, I didn't see the first one. So maybe put them up one at a time, and then if those people are here, they can maybe talk a little bit about it. But I know this isn't the first slide.
Yeah, there should be one before that.
I must have, are you seeing it now?
You're no longer screen sharing.
I must have had a heavy finger at the beginning there. See the title slide now?
Yes.
Yes.
And I don't think Vicky's on tonight.
I think Vicki had another meeting tonight, but I'm not sure.
Suzanne? I guess she's not there.
She just texted me and told me her mic wasn't working. That was she took that at Turtle Bay, I believe, there in the Arboretum, and liked it in kind of a black and white tone. So
Susan.
So as many of you know, we lost most of our property to fire last year, and I keep finding new things as I wander around out there. And obviously this was a buck, a pretty good sized one that must have succumbed to the fire. And this is what's left of him. And there was another one about 20 yards from him. So.
There seems to be some feedback a little bit on my end. I don't know. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
we can hear you.
Okay. This is an image I took last summer. My husband and I, during the middle of COVID, we got tired of being stuck at home. So we took a drive up to Almanor and we took some dirt roads back into a couple of little lakes. I don't even know what the name of them, the lakes were. They were more of a pond really than a lake, but they had a few water lilies on them and the reflections from the trees were showing in the water. So that's where I got this image. And I thought it worked for minimalism.
Yeah.
I really love the colors in this one, Sharon.
Oh, yeah, very nice.
The reflection in the water is beautiful.
Thank you.
And Sandy shows us being logged on, but not with the camera and not with the mic. So,
Cool.
but she'll be able to watch the recording later. It's kind of good. I like this one. This is one of my, I went back to Louisiana a couple of years ago for a family reunion. One of the little alligators.
Just to go back to Sandy, she just texted me. Hers is shot from a hotel room and she was watching this fellow plastering the wall. She liked the color combination.
Interesting.
That was, I can't remember if that was a pear tree or an apple tree out at Tower House. Happened to have the clouds there and just, you know, I really liked just kind of the white against the blue sky.
Mm-hmm. Pretty.
Pat's not on. And Mike's not on. Does anybody know if that's Death Valley or Arabia?
It's Death Valley. When it was sent in, it had Death Valley in the file name.
Beautiful.
They don't send the file name with their own name anymore?
A lot of people, I have to rename them. Lisa's doing archery tonight.
She's not at Yellowstone?
No, we're back.
That's up in Etna. It's actually about 7 o'clock in the morning and there's a fog and everything is covered in frost.
So it wasn't this week, right?
Yeah, it's just actually a river, they call it. They don't call it a river.
Has a lovely mood, John.
Yeah,
That
right.
picture.
I really like
I really like the mood.
Hi, this is Jane, and it was taken in Eureka a few weeks ago. It's a Chilean flamingo, and I just converted it to black and white because I thought it was a nice image.
Nice.
Nice. I like that.
This was up at Trinidad Beach, and it just looked like a cute little palm tree, but it's some kind of seaweed. But I liked the texture behind it too.
Was it in the sand like that, or did you put it in like that?
No, it was. That's where it was growing. It seemed really weird for it to be growing there.
It almost looks staged. It's so cool, like a little palm tree. I like that.
Yeah.
I tried to do. I was down at Fort Bragg a few months ago, and I tried to set one up like that where I set it in the sand and tried to set it up with a forced perspective shot where there was some people in the background, and I was going to try to stack it in a way so that it looked like that was an actual palm tree. The size. It didn't work out, but so I had I know what when I saw it, I had to laugh about that.
I promise it was growing there. I have witnesses.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That was up in Florence, Oregon. Yeah. And there was a daughter of a friend of ours that she was like 9 years old, I think. Yeah. And I don't know, it's just kind of funny. This weird blank background and this little girl kind of dancing on the edge of the water. So that's what it was.
Very nice.
Well, Dan and Sylvia didn't make it back.
They're having their kitchen remodeled, and they were out getting stuff for the contractor needs tomorrow.
What happened?
There you go.
Carmen's not even though we can never hear her or see her, she's not even on tonight, I don't think.
I gotta say something about this. I thought it was black and white. Now you can look at it, it's closer. It actually is in color.
I thought it was black and white too.
Definitely minimalism. And then Doug.
Very nice. I like that.
Heather.
It's a little flower that just caught my eye in the middle of a long open road with nothing but pavement around it.
Oh, that's pavement it's growing in?
Yeah, it's growing in a crack in the pavement.
Cool. Let's see, I don't think Lana was on tonight.
Wow, I love the colors of that though. That was beautiful.
Beautiful.
I like this, Michelle.
Thank
Very
you. Grand Tetons at sunrise over Jackson Lake.
My favorite range of mountains.
It's beautiful.
Love that place.
Yep.
Michelle, that picture is gorgeous. It just makes me, I think I'm looking at an Ansel Adams print. It's just incredible. You did a great job. It's beautiful. Bill is camping this weekend, I think. He sent me this one a little darker than this and then kind of lightened it up and then lightened it again, and then it got a little too busy, but I thought it was such a just subtle, beautiful scene. I think he did a really nice job.
Pretty.
George, which I don't think is on tonight either.
Both of those novice images were beautiful.
They really were, and it was just one vote apart on the vote for them. I think either one of them could move into the regular category whenever they're ready.
Yeah, I thought they were both, nice images.
So we're still looking for speakers for upcoming meetings, especially, now that some of them are, hopefully going to be in person. I think I've twisted Lisa and Michelle's arms into doing a program on Yellowstone for us. It looks like in September. And maybe Heather will add in some of her winter in Yellowstone pictures too. But we know that Michelle, well, I know Lisa said she took about 1,000 a day. So they have a few to go through. But we're looking forward to that. That'll be really great in September.
How many days were you there?
We're thinking about July, just more being kind of a social meeting since we haven't seen each other in so long. But, we'll still have we're going to still do our photo competition digitally the same way we've been doing it, just in case things go screwy and we aren't, don't make it for meeting in person. So it'll be shoot through it. It'll still be digital this month. But if anyone has suggestions for speakers coming up, please let us know because we're always looking for new ideas.
Well, think of me in July.
You might be able to by then. That's a few weeks off yet, Ron.
Maybe.
So unless anybody has anything else, I think we'll let you go. I think everybody's hot and tired and we're missing a lot of our friends, but hopefully next time we'll all be together.
Hey, Debbie, can you repeat that website for the shooting through it?
Phototherapy?
It's called Phototherapy.
Okay.
And it's a great Facebook group, but they also on YouTube, excuse me, most of the pandemic, they were doing, weekly YouTube critiques of pictures. They would give a theme and then do critiques. And it's Rick Salmon and Juan Pons, and I can't remember the other guy, but they're all great photographers, and Rick has written several books about photography, and they present at Kelby One and things like that.
And Rick went to Woodstock too.
Yeah. So it's Phototherapy, and you can either look on their website and put that topic in, or look for their YouTube channel, Phototherapy, and find that shoot through it one. It was really interesting.
No, like that? No?
And first, second, and third.
As in the slideshow, Mike Andrews was first.
Okay.
And Pat Clark was second. And then Carmen Boss and Sandy Lincoln were tied for third. And then George was 1 point more than Bill in the novice.
Very good.
They were all great photos. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, they were good.
Did you say people need to still vote for the officers?
I think the poll is still there, and it was basically either approve this slate or send me a write-in, and I haven't gotten any write-ins. So I'm assuming that I'm your new president, and Heather's vice president. Ron is past president. Lana is the secretary. Sylvia is the treasurer. And Susan Tangeman, Dan Langford, Carmen Rigo, and I just said Susan. Don't confuse me, Rick. My brain lost the fourth one.
Lisa. Lisa.
Who's our fourth?
Lisa.
Lisa and Lisa are our members at large. But Carmen Rigo, Susan Tangeman, Dan Langford, and Lisa are members at large. But everyone's welcome at board meetings, and the next one will be in July. So I don't have anything else. So try to stay cool out there, everyone, and we will see you in July.
Okay.
And I'll put a link to the recording.